Hi, welcome to my channel if you're new, welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today I'm going to be sharing my March TBR. I cannot believe it's already March. February, I know it's the shortest month, but it also just flew by. I can't believe it's over. I had such a great month. I actually visited my friend Lexi from Books with Lexi in person, and I also got to meet Katrina from Katrina Brown. She was able to drive up one of the days and visit us, so it was just a blast. I had a wonderful month, but I wanted to film this TBR tonight. I actually am impressed by myself because you know how in last video I said I usually don't stick to TBRs? Well, I actually read the majority of the books that were on that TBR, which I cannot believe happened. I'm so freaking proud of myself. I think it really helped that I had a really long train ride 2 times, so I was able to read a lot on the train, but I will definitely be doing a wrap up for those. I found some new gems that I want to talk about, but today let's get on to this TBR for this month, and I have a big stack of books next to me down here that I cannot wait to talk about. But before we talk about these, I would like to share the Lights Out Book Club pick for this month. So if you don't know what the Lights Out Book Club is, it is a book club that I host monthly. It is focused on thriller and horror books, and this month's book pick is Such Pretty Flowers by K.L. Cerra, and this one looks fantastic. I love the cover. I'm obsessed with this trend with a face on the cover and flowers around it. It's beautiful, and my co-host will be Elizabeth from Reading Riley. I've been wanting to collaborate with Elizabeth for a while now, and I'm very, very happy that she's going to be co-host for this month. She has a really awesome channel, and she also started a book club of her own called the Midnight Society. So make sure you go check out her channel as well as her book club, and let's get into the synopsis of what this book pick for this month is about. It says, "Get it out of me." It was the last message Holly received from her brother Dane before he was found cleaved open in his fiance's lavish Savannah townhouse. Police ruled his death a suicide sparked by psychosis, but Holly can't shake the idea that something else must have happened. Something involving another message he sent that night, the one that mentioned a game his fiancée Maura wanted to play. Determined to discover the truth, Holly begins to stalk Maura, a magnetic black-eyed florist with a penchant for carnivorous plants. But what begins as an investigation quickly veers into a darker fixation, one that lures Holly into the depths of Maura's world, Savannah high society, eerie black roses, and a whisper of something more sinister. Soon, Holly is feeling a dark attraction to the one woman she shouldn't trust. As Holly falls deeper for Maura and her secrets, she's left with only one choice: find out what happened to Dane before she meets the same fate. A woman investigating her brother's apparent suicide finds herself falling for her prime suspect, his darkly mysterious girlfriend, in this edgy Southern Gothic thriller. So this one sounds so good. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to jump into this. A Southern Gothic thriller, an obsession. It sounds right up my alley, and I can't wait to read it for this month. So I hope you join in with us, and let's get into the rest of my TBR. So the first book on my regular TBR is episode 13 by Craig Dilouie. And can we just take a moment to acknowledge how freaking cool this cover is? I don't know if you can see right here, but it's like a window and there's creepy hands in it, and I absolutely love it. Everybody has been talking about this one, and I've had such FOMO. I really, really wanted to get into it, and this month I'm finally going to jump in. This one is a found footage style horror book, which I've never read anything like it, so that sounds really interesting. It's told in a really cool way because it looks like throughout the book you're going to be reading from journal entries, from interviews, from all kind of mixed media, which is kind of what makes this a found footage book. Also, you're following a ghost hunting team, and they're filming a reality TV show, which, if you don't know, I love reality TV shows, specifically The Real Housewives. I'm obsessed with that show. So as soon as I heard that this is found footage vibes mixed with reality TV, I just knew I had to read it. So like I said, this is about a ghost hunting crew, and they are filming their 13th episode, and they go into this paranormal research foundation. And in this building in the past, there were actually some really wild experiments that were performed. And in this building, there were bizarre experiments that were performed in the 70s. So that's all I know about this one. Apparently it has kind of a divisive ending, but I cannot wait to get into it. And also, apparently the audiobook is really, really cool. This is also the Pyramid Book Club's book pick, which is run by Michelle from Michelle's Library, Lexi from Books with Lexi, and Monica from A Little Bit of Monica. So I will link all their information in the description box. The next book I am very, very excited about is The Writing Retreat And I love this cover too. I really like the green cover. And immediately when I saw it, I knew this is going to be a snowy isolated setting book, which if you don't know, it's like one of my favorite things ever. So this book, I've heard really, really amazing things. It's about a writer, so I love that trope. It's in an isolated setting, which I love, and also people are being picked off one by one. So it has a lot of tropes in it that I really love, and it's definitely a contender for a new favorite book. So I have really high hopes. I hope it doesn't let me down, because sometimes when I put my hopes too high for a book, I am let down. But let's get into what this is about. It's about a struggling writer, and she's invited to this writing retreat at this house of a very famous horror author. And her actual nemesis is there. Her enemy in the writing world is going to be there, but she decides to kind of put that aside and take up this awesome opportunity. And basically people start getting picked off one by one. That's all I know about it, but just knowing that much, I can't wait to jump in. The next book on my TBR is In the Miso Soup, and this one I actually picked up when I was visiting Lexi. This was in a buy one get one half off sale at Barnes & Noble. And this one is by Murakami, and this is a translated book from Japan. And this on the front says, a blistering portrait of contemporary Japan, one of the most savage thrillers since The Silence of the Lambs. So that blurb really caught my attention, and I've heard really good things about this book. So I just jumped right in. I'm about halfway through, and it's a little bit of a slow burn, I will say, but I'm very intrigued in the plot, and the character in this is so creepy. Like, there's something so unnerving about this man. So let me tell you what it's about. So this is about Kenji, and he guides tourists from America to the sleazy nightlife in Tokyo. And basically this man that has approached him to get a guide from him, there's something really off about him. And at first he thinks, oh, he's just weird, he's this strange American. But as the night goes on, he starts to suspect that he may be a serial killer. I'm really enjoying it, and I can't wait to finish this one. I'm dying to know what happens. Another book that I am currently reading that I just started today is House of Hunger, and this is by Alexis Henderson. And this was on my TBR for last month, and let me tell you, I am obsessed with this book already. I'm not that far, but the atmosphere it's impeccable. It's so freaking good. Is this a 5-star prediction? Like, it might be a 5-star prediction. I'm liking it that much. So all you need to know about this is it's about a woman who becomes a blood maid. And basically that means she sells her blood for the wealthy to drink. That's all you need to know. The atmosphere, like I said, is amazing, and I am visualizing all of this. And actually there was a part that took place on a train, and that's so fun because I was just on a train. I wish I would have started this on the train, but I'm loving this so much, and I'm going to fly through this one so fast. I already know it. I'm listening to the audiobook, and I am dying to finish this one as well. So I'm reading 2 books that I'm really enjoying already, and it's only the second day in March, which is really exciting. Also, just the gothic atmosphere in it is to die for. I love things with gothic atmospheres, and I just love it. The next book is The Violin Conspiracy by Brendan Slocum, and this is kind of from last month, and I already started reading it, and I'm definitely gonna finish it this month. This is basically about a violinist, and he's competing in this competition. It says the most famous classical violin competition in the world, and his Stradivarius, which is a really expensive violin, has been stolen, so he has to figure out what happened. And Lexi gave this book to me, which was so kind, and I'm actually testing out highlighting in books. So as you can see, I highlighted some of it already, and I got these really cool highlighters that I've been seeing and wanting forever. Let me know in the comments if you highlight in your books. I still feel really weird about it, but I figured this would be a good place to start because I got a degree in violin performance, and so I have a lot of thoughts and experiences that I could write in this. So I figured out that would be a perfect book to kind of highlight, and already I found some things that I really like in it that I highlighted. So I'm not very far. I literally just started it, but I'm definitely going to read it this month and finish it. All right, the next part of my TBR is super exciting because my friend Gabby from Gabby Reads announced this readathon that is Taylor Swift based, and it looks so fun. So it's called the Screaming Color Readathon, and this is based on a Taylor Swift lyric, and she chooses basically a lyric and a color for the readathon each time it happens. So this is the first time, and it is going to be green for the color. And the reason that it's green is because it's part of a Taylor Swift lyric from Invisible String, which is such a good song. And also it's perfect to do it this month because I am seeing Taylor Swift live this month, which I cannot even believe. I'm seeing her at the end of the month, and I'm so excited. So perfect time to participate in this readathon. The color is green, so I looked through my shelves to see what green books I owned, and I have actually quite a few because green is actually a common color due to just trees on book covers. So I have a lot of woodsy setting books that I'm going to talk about here. The first one though that is absolute top priority for me to read is You've Lost a Lot of Blood by LaRocca. This cover is so unique and stunning in a really haunting and disturbing way. I really am sad that I don't have the book cover that goes with this for Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. It isn't being sold anymore, and so people are reselling it for like hundreds of dollars. So I don't have one, but it's stunning. And also that book I was absolutely obsessed with. It was such a surprise. And that book was so strange, so surprising, and I was gripped to the last page. So I knew I had to check out more by LaRocca. And all I know about this is it says, each precious thing I show you in this book is a holy relic from the night we both perished, the night when I combed you from my hair and watered the moon with your blood. You've lost a lot of blood. So I know that this is following sort of two different stories, but I don't really know much more about it. I barely started it a while ago, but I'm just gonna go back to the beginning. I don't really remember what was happening in it, but I am very excited to read this one. The next book is The Shadow House, and this one is by Anna Downs, and I really love the cover for this. Obviously it has green down here, and this one I've had for a while and I haven't picked up, but I've been meaning to. And I also heard this is a thriller with some horror elements, which is something I very much enjoy in my thrillers when they are more spooky. So this one is about a single mother who is moving to a rural town in order to start a new life with her children. Sounds like something happened in her past. And the town is surrounded by this forest, which I think is going to be really atmospheric to read about. But she soon discovers new secrets in the home and weird things start happening. So I am sold. This one sounds really good and I hope to get to it. The next book that I really want to get to is A History of Wild Places by Shea Ernshaw. And I should say I know I'm not going to get to all these books within 48 hours, but these are also just going to be scattered throughout the month because I do want to read a ton of green books, even if it's not during the readathon time. But this one I've heard is very atmospheric. I've been meaning to read it for a long time, and this month I finally want to pick it up. And this one looks so good. The synopsis sounds very interesting. So this is about Travis, and he can find missing people with a single object. So he's hired by this author who writes really dark fiction for children, and he goes into the community that this author lives in, and basically it's this really secluded community. I'm getting cult vibes a little bit from it, and they're really separated from the world and they don't go out. But he ends up disappearing. So years later, a member of the community discovers this man's abandoned truck outside of the gate, and people, like I said, don't really leave the community. And so he decides to try to unravel the mystery and see what really happened. So it's sort of vague, but sounds really intriguing, and I heard the atmosphere is incredible in this one, so I am looking forward to reading it. So the next books are by Kingfisher, and I've actually never read anything by them, and I really need to. So I have two options, and the first one has a very green cover, and it is called A House with Good Bones. And this one looks very unusual. It says, a haunting Southern Gothic from an award-winning master of suspense. A House with Good Bones explores the dark, twisted roots lurking just beneath the veneer of a perfect home and family. So when I was reading about it, it seems like it's about these siblings who return home to visit their mother, and they go inside. All the walls are now painted sterile white, which is super out of character for their mother, and she's very jumpy, and they're wondering what's going on with her. And the main character actually finds these teeth hidden in the house. So this one sounds really strange, and I am very intrigued by it. I also have the Twisted Ones by the same author. I got it a while ago and I still haven't read it, and this one sounds like folk horror, so I'm interested in this. I read Slewfoot, which was my first folk horror book, and I really enjoyed it, so I am interested to see if I'll enjoy this one too. It also has a woodsy setting, which I really enjoy. This says, when a young woman clears out her deceased grandmother's home in rural North Carolina, she finds long hidden secrets about a strange colony of beings in the woods. The next book that I'm interested that has green on it, it has trees once again, another house with trees, is The Cabin in the Woods by Cerra Alderson. This one says, in a cabin in a wood, a woman by the window stood. Glancing out, she thought she heard footsteps. Whistling, something stirred. Hiding here, she fears the night, for what's done in the dark will come to light. She must run fast to escape her lie, or she'll be the next to die. So that's all I know about it. Sounds interesting, and I would like to pick it up. The last book on my TBR is What You Never Knew by Jessica Hamilton. This one inside says, told in alternating points of view between the living and the dead, Jessica Hamilton's debut novel will be perfect for fans of The Lovely Bones. I personally have never read The Lovely Bones, but I know it's a very well-loved book, so it's interesting that they make that comparison for this one. So the main character in this, her sister dies in a fatal car crash, and she learns that the cottage owned by her family in this remote island actually wasn't sold a long time ago like she thought. And so she travels back to the cabin for answers, and she actually finds out that the townspeople think that her father was actually murdered, and her father left her family in the middle of the night. So that's what she was told by her mother. So she thought he just abandoned her, but sounds like he was murdered. And so she's trying to solve this mystery. And also strange things start happening in the house. So this one sounds like a thriller with paranormal elements. All right, that's it for my TBR for this month. I really hope that I do so well on my TBR like I did last month. Who knows? I have a lot of books on here, so we'll see. But let me know in the comments what you're the most excited for this month to read. And if you've gotten this far, please leave a tree emoji. And I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.